Welcome back to Music Kingdom. You spoke, we listened. Over the past several months on this channel, we have gotten tons of comments requesting that we review a specific band in particular, and we got many song recommendations by them as well. I basically closed my eyes and picked one. So, in this video, we will be listening to, giving a music theory breakdown for, and blindly reviewing Pull Me Under by Dream Theater. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, my name is Francis. If you are a fellow nerd for music, such as myself, and you appreciate not just reactions but in-depth analysis and reviews of songs, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you'd like to support the work I put into these videos, you'll find Music Kingdom's Patreon and other affiliate links in the description below. Alright, now before we give the song a listen, first let's briefly talk Pull Me Under by Dream Theater. Widely considered to be their signature song, Pull Me Under is the debut single by Dream Theater from their 1992 album, Images and Words. Story goes, in the early days, the members of Dream Theater were huge fans of bands like Rush and Iron Maiden, often covering their songs. Eventually, they'd find themselves waiting in line for tickets to a Rush concert at the Berkeley Performance Center while listening to the band on a boombox. Mike Portnoy commented that the ending of the song Bastille Day sounded majestic, and it was then that they decided Majesty would be the band's name at the time. However, a Las Vegas group also named Majesty threatened legal action for intellectual property infringement related to the use of their name, so the band was forced to come up with a new one. Eventually, Mike Portnoy's father suggested the name Dream Theater, which was the name of a small theater in Monterey, California, and the name finally stuck. Images and Words is only the second studio album by Dream Theater, and it's the first to feature James LaBrie on vocals. After Charlie's departure from Dream Theater, the band auditioned nearly 200 individuals across the nation, that is until James LaBrie sent the band an audition tape. After a short jam session, he was named Dream Theater's new lead singer and has remained with them ever since. With LaBrie as the new vocalist, the band was signed to a 7-album contract by Atco Records. And shortly thereafter, they began recording their new album in late 1991 that would turn into Images and Words. Since its release, the album has maintained its position as the band's most commercially successful studio album, and the song Pull Me Under has the distinction of being the only top 10 hit, radio or otherwise, that the band has to date. Now, regarding the song Pull Me Under specifically, lyricist Kevin Moore refers to Shakespeare's Hamlet as told from Prince Hamlet's point of view. The lyrics allude heavily to the play, echoing Hamlet's desire to give in to his urge to gain revenge for his father at the cost of his own sanity. Over the final moments of the song, James can be heard singing the song's only direct quote from the play, "Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt." Therein, Prince Hamlet is pleading for escape from his mortal trappings, which honestly, in my opinion, is super badass. I mean, how often do you have songs that are not only inspired by Shakespeare, but also quote Shakespeare too? And I'll be honest, with how highly requested this band is, and with them being progressive metal, I am very curious to hear how they sound. And of course, as mentioned earlier, we not only got a ton of comments requesting Dream Theater, but we also got a wide array of song suggestions by them as well. In this video, we are obviously reviewing Pull Me Under, so for any of you who were really hoping for Metropolis Part 1, I'm sure we'll get to it eventually, so relax. But of course, with all that said, regardless, I would still love for you guys to comment down below other suggestions by Dream Theater you'd like for this channel to review. Alright, at long last, it's time we give the song a listen, and just a heads up, I will be pausing a few times to share my thoughts, but ultimately to avoid any copyright strikes. And as always, be sure to stick around after the song for a music theory breakdown from our expert, and then we're going to divide the song into specific categories, grading them each, averaging them out, and arriving at an overall score. Love a slow intro. Build of anticipation and suspense. Tasteful. You can already tell it's well produced and put together. I like how it's progressive metal, but the metal sound is more of an accent as opposed to the core of what the song is. Especially for being 31 years old. Thoughts so far, as mentioned, I do appreciate a slow introduction that can build anticipation, build the suspense, which is a recurring theme that I've noticed over a number of the metal songs we've reviewed on this channel, and I acknowledge that Dream Theater can loosely be called metal, they're prog metal, so on and so forth. But still, my point remains, and automatically from the start you can really feel the attention to detail, the artistry that goes into the song, the thought that they put into how it's crafted and produced. I'm very eager to see where it goes, and of course what all the hype and fuss is about. Anticipation.
Lost in the sky, clouds roll by.
Hell of an intro.
Arrows fly, seas increase and then fall again.
I like the chords as well.
This world is spinning around me. This world is spinning without me, and every day since future or past, every breath leaves me one last to my last.
Ooh. I love the way it's written. And so far it's staying so fresh. I talk about that a lot in my videos in terms of engagement when you have a longer song. It's so important.
Watch the spell falling, gives no meaning to it all.
Oh, this is fun.
And I had to love that some other day.
Strong vocals.
Takes a last one, and then my only person is every day of my life, and I am not afraid. This world is spinning around me. The whole world keeps spinning around me, and all life is future to past.
Very epic.
Leaves me one last to my last.
Ooh. Oh, what a crescendo. Beautiful solo too. The harmonies. I'm a sucker for harmonies. Great range and power and control over the vibrato. At this point in the song, I continue to be impressed with how intentional it is, how artistic it feels. Top to bottom, you can really get the sense that they were students in a multitude of ways in this song. And even if we were to isolate the vocals themselves, you can tell that a lot of appreciation, adoration, respect in terms of really nailing that vocal sound, that vocal style. Just an example though, but yes, the rest of the song, musically speaking, you really get that feeling, which is really cool to me, at least personally, because I love when you can tell that an artist has their inspirations, but then takes it in a creative direction that is their own, in an authentic way. There's so much going on from a production standpoint. You could focus in on any given instrument or element and get lost in it. Smooth transition. Oh, another smooth transition. And it's executed so sharply, tight. This has to be my favorite part, is just the harmonies.
Living my life to watching the sun.
Let you breathe. Calm it down. Really tasteful synth. Sometimes synth can be hit or miss, especially in different eras. But for me, it's very welcome in this song. Alright, stopping yet again. Thoughts at this point of the song. Blah 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 copyright claim, blah 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 copyright strike, blah blah blah. I will never make money from this channel. And now I can get back to the song. Beautiful. Yet badass at the same time. Oh, fuck. Oh, this part feels very Rush, very Genesis, very prog. How they did that melody. What a badass song, honestly. I can see why it's kind of their staple or their signature. There's a listenability to it without it being too abstract. And then back to the metal sound. So well done. There's a showmanship to it. This is so well produced, oh my god. Well, that's abrupt. Alright, initial thoughts before we go to the experts. Hang on, Bubba. You wanna say hi? Ooh. What'd you think, Bub? What'd you think, Bub? I know. Was that a 10 out of 10? Do you like prog metal? Alrighty, initial thoughts before we go to the experts corner and before grading the song. Honestly, my first thoughts, what the hell was that ending? I mean, respect, but also I'm curious. So I looked it up. The song's abrupt ending was modified in their greatest hits compilation. When asked about the abrupt ending while at a drum clinic in Atlanta in 1999, Mike Portnoy explained we all had this tension and it just kept building and we had no idea where to take it. So we decided to just pull the plug on it like the Beatles did with She's So Heavy. Thanks, internet. Now back to my own thoughts. I can absolutely understand the adoration for a band that creates music like this. Very imaginative, very dramatic, very artistic, very authentic, very skilled. You can tell they are historians. You can tell they love and have reverence for what they do. And with fans, honestly, that goes such a long way. I'm excited to eventually grade it lightheartedly, of course, that's just what we do on this channel, but just to see where it lands on our little scale, because at least in this moment right now, I'm assuming the composition is very solid. I thought the production was exquisite. Vocals were impressive, writing was literally based off Shakespeare, and obviously very original. But before I can elaborate on all of that even further, first let's go to the experts corner for a music theory breakdown and to see how he grades the song's composition.
Welcome to the Experts Corner. This is Pull Me Under by Dream Theater, and I am here to give it a composition score. This song is in the time signature of 4/4, and it's in the key of E minor. Excellent key. That's purely subjective, of course. I've just always loved E minor. So I thought this was a really cool song, super epic, almost cinematic at points. Of course, with a song of this length, 8+ minutes, there's a lot to unpack. And for the sake of time, I'm just gonna show you my favorite chord progression because this song is full of very unique ones. It's in the latter half of the song and there's an awesome guitar solo happening over it. It goes E minor, C major, C sharp minor, which is such a cool move. It's dark, it's brooding, it's dramatic. Love it. Goes from C sharp minor to G major to B major, then back around to E minor. So compositionally, while this song might not be as complex or crazy as other metal songs that we've reviewed on this channel, what it brings to the table is uniqueness and intricacy. I've listened to a lot of weird music, and I have never heard that particular chord progression in any song I've ever heard that I can recall. It's not intuitive to the ear, it's not something most people would sit down and compose. I love that. Another bit I loved in this song had nothing to do with chords, but with rhythm. It's about 1:20, 1:30 into the song. It tricks you into thinking the song is going into a different time signature. If you're bobbing your head to it, you kind of get tripped up like, wait, what just happened? But it turns out it never even left 4/4. The drummer just did something brilliant and very tricky and just gave the illusion that it left 4/4. I love little tricks like that. Another thing I love, near the end there is so much dissonance, dissonant chords, things that just sound harsh but so good. The drums were great. I love the presence of keys. I love the guitar solo. The song does hover around E minor for most of the song, but due to all the intricacies and all the great things I just mentioned, it's still going to get a very high 8 out of 10 from me. Back to you, Francis.
A very special thank you to our expert for providing a music theory breakdown and giving the song's composition a great 8 out of 10. And now, at long last, we have 4 more categories to grade, and then we're going to add them all up, average them out, and arrive at an overall score. Starting off with the category of production specifically, I am inclined to give it a very rare 9 out of 10. And honestly, in my opinion, a 9 out of 10 production can sound like many different things. It's not like there's any clear-cut criteria, because on one hand, a 9 out of 10 production could sound like a 1990s Michael Jackson song, where he might beatbox and then record his beatbox and then craft and engineer his beatboxing into a beat, and then fill a garbage bag full of junk, throw the garbage bag full of junk down the stairs, record the sounds it makes as it falls down the stairs, and then sample those sound effects in the most subtle of ways as you produce sound effects in your song, ad-libbing in the background of every measure, creating a total work of art. And on the other hand, you have a 9 out of 10 production in a song like this, which sounds like a variety of instruments so beautifully arranged and put together, tastefully, artistically. You've got the synth doing its own thing, you've got multiple layers of guitar working harmoniously together, vocal harmonies on top of that, incredibly smooth transitions, all in addition to how beautifully it's mixed. Overall, it is a very sophisticated and thought out, attention to detail type of production. So yes, in its own right, within the confines of the genre, an absolute 9 out of 10. Up next, we have the category of lyrics, which I will give a very great 8.5 out of 10. Very well written lyrics, borderline poetic, obviously based on Shakespeare's Hamlet, wonderfully inspired. I just won't go much higher than an 8.5 simply because, as creative as they are, devoid of any actual faults I can think of, my logic is if we're talking all of the music to ever exist in music history, 1950s, 1970s, so on and so forth, there are songs in history, past and present, that are so masterfully penned, which I reserve the 9, the 9.5, and the ever elusive 10 out of 10 for. So for this song to get an 8.5, in my opinion, is very high praise. Up next, we have the category of vocals, which I will be giving a very strong and great 8 out of 10. Excellent control of the voice in my opinion, tasteful vibrato, evidently an insane range as well. Masterfully delivered in my opinion, and also in a way that does the writing justice. It's a beautiful thing in music when the vocal style you are delivering goes hand in hand with the subject matter and emotion of the lyrics, which this song absolutely nails. But with that said, I am grading this song specifically. And just by hearing his voice, I would assume there are other songs by Dream Theater where the vocal delivery is a 9 or even above a 9. But in this song specifically, a great vocal performance, but nothing necessarily otherworldly or amazing, which again is what those really high numbers are reserved for. All right, arriving at our final category of originality, I'm inclined to give it yet another very rare 9 out of 10. Originality of all the categories is honestly where this song shines the most. To begin with, being based on Shakespeare's Hamlet, a great composition, in my opinion an exceptionally done production, a vocal style inspired by the greats who came before him, and honestly, top to bottom, an 8+ minute artistic masterpiece. It's abstract and proggy when it needs to be, it's accessible and catchy when it needs to be. You can tell it is so inspired, you can tell it's nerdy, you can tell it's authentic, you can tell it's expressive. And a big thing with originality, does this song sound like a lot of other songs that exist before or afterwards? No, because you made something special. So now if we add it all up, including the expert's composition score and average it out, Pull Me Under by Dream Theater from their second studio album titled Images and Words, released in 1992, gets a very strong 8.5 out of 10. For me, in my opinion, an 8.5 out of 10 represents a truly great song, which I feel, after having just broken it down and explained why, makes sense. But again, that is just my own opinion, and on this channel we like to get nerdy and grade songs. So obviously let me know if you think I'm right on the money, batshit crazy, or somewhere in between, as well as other Dream Theater songs you'd like for this channel to review next. As mentioned, if you are a fellow nerd for music such as myself, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you'd like to support the work I put into these videos, you'll find Music Kingdom's Patreon and other affiliate links in the description below. This has been another edition of Music Kingdom. Thank you so much for listening with me, and I look forward to jamming with you in the next one.